I feel like, especially with the fourth industrial revolution, we have seen that every career right now there is infusion of new technologies, and whatever you're doing right now, there's a piece of a new technology that is probably dropped into it. Being able to understand the current trend in your industry is critical for everybody for 2025. Put that as an agenda on your table. Now, once you understand these are the current trend, then we want to say, I want to learn about how this affect my work so I can be at the top of it. I can understand what is it I should be learning, what technology or what skills should I add to what I know for me to stay competitive. This is critical because we can't pray away AI. We can't pray away cloud computing and all of this other technology. We need to get with the time. So it's important to do this regularly, to understand the trends in your industry so you continue to upskill and get ahead of the curve so that you never lose your status as an expert in your field.
Immigrant Nation, today we are thrilled to welcome Dr. Addy Olubamiji, a trailblazing scientist, entrepreneur, and advocate for STEM education and innovation. Today, in the Immigrant Nation podcast, we welcome her with gratitude and grace. Dr. Addy's journey is nothing short of remarkable, from hawking goods in the streets back in Nigeria as a child to becoming the first Black person to earn a PhD in biomedical engineering from the University of
Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan. These Indian names get me. As the founder of 3D Tech Centrics, she is revolutionizing 3D printing technology across industries, a recipient of prestigious accolades like Women of Outstanding Achievements in Education. Dr. Addy is deeply committed to empowering women and inspiring the next generation to embrace STEM and leadership roles. Your passion, Dr. Addy, is my passion. As we delve into her story, we will learn that her story exemplifies resilience, innovation, and limitless possibilities of what education can bring to those of us who are in the grapevine. Again, welcome to the Immigrant Nation podcast. My name is Martin. I am your host, Dr. Addy. Comfort zone is your enemy. Easy is your enemy. While one of the major reasons people migrate to other countries is looking for comfort. Why is comfort and easy zone dangerous for anybody that has a dream?
Um, when I say comfort zone is your enemy, it doesn't have to be just location. It could be even in your career. You have been in a certain location that is the title you've had for 5 years. You know how to do the job, you know the ropes, and pretty much everything is going fine. Oftentimes, when you push the boundary a little bit, you oftentimes would see that you have the capacity to even do better in there. Now, when it comes to location, we see what is going on across Africa. And yes, we can see the boom happening. We also see that we are also seeing the brain drain, people moving away from their family, from a warm continent, from a place that they have called home, and moving to other places because they have embraced this idea that comfort zone may be their enemy, just looking for something better than they have. And it's only those people who are willing to take risk that I would say would go on such journey. And being somebody who had taken this risk multiple times, I found out that every time when I take risk, um, it may be a little hard in the beginning, but at the end of the day, it's been worth it for me to actually be able to push the boundaries, take on this new step, whether it's starting entrepreneurship, whether it's taking on a PhD, whether it's relocating to another place, whether it is getting married. All of these have those things that makes you feel like maybe it's not going to succeed, maybe it's going to be hard. But at the end of the day, they end up being something that really make you shine better than you were shining before, pretty much.
I like the idea that you have no problem with taking risks, and obviously you are true testament or and a true testimony of what taking risk can be. But taking risk also comes with its own price. You're walking into a territory that you're not too familiar with. You're going to a place where you probably don't know anybody. How do you deal with difficulty or situations that prop up when you go into a territory that you're not familiar with?
So I want to give an example of what is happening in our world right now. I think taking risks should be everything that everybody embrace. There are some things we can't control today. For example, the evolution of technology. That's a risk that it's part of our life. We can't control AI. We can't control computing. We can't control robotics happening. If truly there are parts of our lives that we can't control those risks coming to us, then why should we not take risk? Now, when we take risk, like you said, it'll take time for things to balance out. And this is just the normal thing that happens in life. And I would always say that taking risk shouldn't just be the idea. Taking calculated risk should be the idea. Because when you take those risks, the beginning is always going to be different from where you're coming from. But if it is calculated, then you will embrace some of those new factors. The first factor I will always embrace is knowing fully well that a new place, a new opportunity will require learning. Being open to continuous learning, upskilling, if that is what it is, or just learning about new culture, about new people, about a new job. Absolutely very important. Seeing what is happening in our world today, it is clear that continuous, I would say continually learning should be something that everybody embrace, because this would help you as you take your calculated risk. Number two is family is not just people that you were born by the same parents. Every step of the way, wherever I go to, whether it's a new job that I got, whether it is I'm going back to school, whether I move to a new country, the people you meet there become your family. They become the people that you have to learn from. Being able to humble yourself enough to say, now I'm here. Who can help me? Who can I create a relationship with? Just being able to know that constantly evolving means constantly embracing networking, constantly learning about new people and becoming quickly a part of what is happening there. This has helped me a lot. Like when I moved to Finland, quickly I realized the language is different from where I'm coming from. If I don't learn a bit about the language, I'm going to pick up yogurt at the store instead of milk. And it was going to be suffering me. So being able to quickly embrace that this is a new culture, it's new people. Let me start to create a bit of relationship with the people. Let me start to learn a bit about the language. They were really very critical for me. And I'm saying this to us because oftentimes, even when Africans move to other places, the first instinct we have is we are looking for Africans, right? Which is great. But it's not just Africans that you should be looking for. You should be trying to learn from people, any big body you meet there. The white, the Asian, the African. Just knowing that I'm here now, I have to create a new network and not keep calling people back home. Absolutely very critical. Another thing that I have seen, you wanted to say something?
I was just gonna actually add on to what you're saying, because I am a big advocate, if not a proponent of diversity. And so for me, I do have a personal problem with the how immigrants tend to zone in one area and in one place. And I think that does steal from us our potential for being able to learn from the places where we migrate to. And so when I was researching you today, the first thing I learned is you went to Finland. You did not know anybody when you got to Finland. And to me, that was like, this is why we're talking to her. It's because she went where there was nobody she knew and she thrived. And to me, that is what works, because when we go within our tribe, there is people who start speaking the language you understand. And in speaking the language you understand, they're stealing away the potential and the strength of you giving up the joy, the comfort, and the love of your motherland to come to this new land And once you get to a place where you know other people, that difference is almost not there. So while it's okay to land in a place where you know people, I think it's even more beneficial when you go to a strange place where there's not people who understand your cultural values. And now you can start learning aggressively what their cultural values are, and that makes you a superhuman being. Don't you
Agree.
agree?
I agree. I
Okay,
agree.
so you talked about brain drain, right? This is, immigrants, we leave our homelands and we come to other countries, and that's talent. Other countries are marrying talent from our original homes, and we go to other countries. But why is brain drain a bad idea for our motherlands and a great idea for the countries we migrate to?
Hmm. Will I say it's a bad idea for our motherland? Hmm. I don't think so. I
Okay.
feel like brain drain, the way it is happening right now, can benefit both parties, our motherland and where we are. I'm Nigerian. The current situation in the country is driving people to leave. That being said, every day when we look back, we also see that a lot of money is being remitted back home by those people who had left to take care of families and friends who are there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, opportunities are not equal back home. Right. If I had stayed back home, I don't know if I would be this person. Why? My parents didn't have connections to be able to earn me stuff despite the fact that I was brilliant. But I
Yes.
came here because it's a plain leveled field. I could use my intelligence, my hard work to become who I definitely desire to be. Now, in the process of doing this here, I've continued to support Nigeria as a country when needed on technology, on innovation, and 3D printing, but I've also been supporting people who are also trying to look for greener pastures. How do I think this plays out in the long run? In the long run, when we come here and we have come to a point where we have succeeded to a large extent, it is in us as Africans to look back. And looking back oftentimes is not just about giving money. We are also seeing people like us investing in companies in Africa, not only financial investment, even providing technological and technical support for companies that are starting up and helping back home. So, in the end, I think it can be a win win if there's a way to build a bridge for diaspora to connect back home. Why? We've come here, we've learned the cutting edge technologies, we've worked in these companies, we understand how things work in a way where there is no corruption, where there's no bureaucracy, where things actually run properly. And I believe that if there is a bridge for us to be able to give back, not only give back, but for us to be able to support in such a way that it's also profitable for us, I think
Mm-hmm.
people will be willing to do that. If we had stayed back home, I probably wouldn't have gotten the type of knowledge when it comes to education that I got, which is needed for a continent to thrive. If we are all educated from Nigerian universities or African universities, we probably wouldn't know as much when it comes to this industry 4.0 that we're all embracing today. So I believe that it's important for us to come out here to get this cutting edge knowledge. And now we want to be able to give it back. Give it back to our people to grow our land, to grow our continent, if we're given the opportunity. So I think it could be a win win. Am I ever afraid to move back home? I am not. If the right opportunity presents itself, I would go home. Do I still go home? Absolutely. Have I contributed? A whole lot. Will I continue to? Yes. If I'd stayed back and not come here, would I have had all the things, the knowledge, the whole thing? I don't think so. So I think there's a win win opportunity there for both parties.
Fantastic. So, with the win-win situation, let's talk about upskilling and continuous education, right? Most immigrants come to the Western world and we have education, but for some reason, we dumper down our education. And you initially were a victim of dampering down what you had already achieved. And then you realized, oh, hey, wait, what I have is actually valuable where I am at now. Talk to us why it is necessary for us to push back and to speak for ourselves, especially when we have a bridge that we can thrive on. We have some kind of education, which most of us do.
Yeah, I think it's the way we grew up and it's the way we're wired. As a woman, as an African woman, I was told growing up that I have to put my head down, right? I was told that I have to be humble. I was told that if I talk too much, nobody's going to marry me. I remembered when I crossed 30 and I had just finished my PhD and I wasn't married yet. My parents were really angry. They were really afraid that the way I had visibility, I was thriving in my career. And when I said I wanted to buy my home, they were begging me not to. Please don't do that because there'll be no man who wants to marry you. You have a car, you have a house, you have all of these accolades. You will end up with nobody. That is how we grew up. We grew up telling, especially the women, the young women, that they should put their head down. They shouldn't be too proud of their achievement, that everything they had was given to them by God. We downplay the role of hard work. We put everything on, it's just God. These people work hard. It's work and pray. And it was both that kind of got us to where we got. But I think by the time I got to 33, I didn't care anymore. I knew that if why didn't I care anymore? I lived in Canada for 6.5 years and then I moved to the US. I'm moving here 2 years later. I became indoctrinated. What does being indoctrinated means? The American spirit is a proud spirit. It makes you feel like you're all of that. You did that.
That's
Tell me
right.
what
There
I
you
did.
go.
Yeah. So the American spirit killed the humility in me. It made me
Right.
feel like everything that you have achieved, you work hard for that. Because if you don't speak up, somebody else is going to take credit for your work. If you are not standing in front of your credentials, people are going to look at you and say you are not able to do it. Because this country, the US idea, the idea of an American dream is that you have to speak about it. You have to speak your way to cash. You have to speak your way
Yes.
to promotion. You have to
Yes.
speak up. If you're not speaking up, you're not going to get anything. If you don't apply for that award, you'll not win it. And moving to this country made me see those things. And then I had to take a step back and say, do I want to win or lose? Because the territory I'm in is a shark tank. You either eat or they eat you. You
Yes.
don't want to be eaten, you start to speak up. I think the Americans,
That reminds me of this very great, interesting book, Blue Ocean, Red Ocean, right? And the concept is, if you're at the bottom of the sea, who eats at the bottom of the sea? That's shrimp and little fishes, right? And at the top, it's sharks, which are killing, and then they're dropping the leftovers, which go to the bottom of the sea, where it's crowded. And in an analogy, you want to be at the top of the sea where you're killing, you're the actual killer. You're going after the real big win, and that big win is what you have become. You went after the big win so that you can become a person not just of influence, but a person that can change not the trajectory of your personal life, but of your community, wherever you are in the US and also back home. And so, as immigrants, we need to learn to not shy away from our ideas, but we need to project our voices in the marketplace. I totally agree with you there.
yeah, I wanted to add this, right? I feel like there are places you get to in your career that you realize that what brought me here is not going to take me to my next level.
Of course.
So when you start out early in your career, it's okay to put your head down because you're building competence, you're building skills, you want to become a subject matter expert, and you're trying to work out to really know. You want to know that competence so that you're an expert. But by the time you become an expert, um, your next level, which is leadership, it takes knowing and it takes being visible to become a leader. Because we have many Africans who have PhDs, who have three masters, who have all these certifications. They use it to get to mid management level. And then they don't stop collecting degrees and certifications because they are not understanding that at that point, you don't need more degree, you don't need more certification. You need visibility, you need networking, you need alignment, you need sponsorship, you need mentorship. You need all of that to be able to become a leader. And I think by the time I moved to the US, a Fortune 500 company had hunted me to come and lead 3D printing for them. I started as a senior engineer, and 18 months later, I became a technical advisor. Like I had a 18 years promotion. So I became a leader. I was leading a technology, 3D printing technology for this Fortune 500 company. At that time, I knew that I'm in a room talking to the president of the company, talking to another company that we partner with that we have 100 million given to them and it is my project. I have to see beyond technology. I have to see money. I have to see the business side. I have to see the people side. I have to see how do I take this project and finish it so it's not a science project. It needs to become a product that is being sold on the market. At that time, I don't need any more degree. What do I need? I need alignment with the people who are working so they see why we need to deliver this. I need to understand business so we can have a business case that brings profitability to the company. And then I need people to be on my side. In places where they're making those decisions, I need leaders to say, oh, our work is phenomenal. We need to keep funding that project. Right. And I feel like most Africans, we shy away from that sponsorship area. We don't build those network, those relationship enough for those leaders to become our sponsors who are now talking about us in rooms that we are not in. And I feel like once I get to the US and understand the strategy, that yes, I'm an expert, I have the knowledge, I know the technology, but that's not going to make me a director. That's not going to make me a big leader. Then I started working on myself when it comes to networking. And I started learning a bit more about communication. It's not English. Communication at various tables. The same thing, the same thing I'm explaining to a scientist and I'm talking technical, I will explain that same thing to a CEO and all I'm talking about is money. And it's the same presentation, but now I've switched it over to money and I'm talking to a group of STEM people who would make this look sustainable. And I'm talking about sustainability. There is no technology in it. Learning how to communicate your value across the board became a thing I needed to develop so that when I'm talking to different people, they see value in what I am saying. What I'm saying gets to them in a way that they remember. And I think this should be taught to everybody. We need to know that. And I'm explaining this because oftentimes we just focus more on, oh, maybe it's your confidence. No, I actually went and learned communication 101. Two, it's not just my confidence. I worked hard on that relationship for that person to become my sponsor. It didn't just like me. I did
Dr.
something to earn that.
Dr. Addy,
Yeah.
okay, we're done. Let's go home. We've done our job. Okay, we've done our job. You're intense, right? I mean, my goodness. I do not want this to escape us. So I'm going to take you back, probably where we started. When you started talking about upskilling and learning, can you really delve deep into the idea of networking, relationship building, and continuous education?
Okay. So I feel like, especially with the fourth industrial revolution, we have seen that every career right now there is infusion of new technologies, and whatever you're doing right now, there's a piece of a new technology that is probably dropped into it. Being able to understand the current trend in your industry is critical for everybody for 2025. Put that as an agenda on your table. Now, once you understand these are the current trend, then we want to say, I want to learn about how this affect my work so I can be at the top of it. I can understand what is it I should be learning, what technology or what skills should I add to what I know for me to stay competitive. This is critical because we can't pray away AI. We can't pray away cloud computing and all of this other technology. We need to get with the time. So it's important to do this regularly, to understand the trends in your industry so you continue to upskill and get ahead of the curve so that you'll never lose your status as an expert in your field. Now, for most people, they're just in that field. They are not really getting they're not getting with the time. Then as things are evolving, you start to see imposter syndrome. I'm not good enough. Envelope them because they haven't seen that AI is taking a lot of things. Let me go and learn that, and now I'll be an expert. I won't have that imposter syndrome. Then we blame the imposter syndrome on our immigrant status. We blame it on our accent. We blame it on being black. Whereas it's because we haven't tried to understand what's the trend so that we can get ahead of the curve. Every year, it is important for you to understand. There's something I do as a career coach called skill mapping. Every year, you have to map your skill to the industry you are in to check per industry level, not just the company I work for. Per industry level, somebody at Google doing the same role as me, am I as good as them? You have to check per industry level, am I on par with people in my field? It's called skill mapping for your industry. And that helps you know, not just by your company, because your company may be even doing 30% of what your entire portfolio should be. And that's what you're focusing on. So you need to know what's the industry scale for what I'm doing. And if there's anything changing, you need to know so that you can be on top of it. This helps to boost your confidence.
Skill mapping.
Mhm.
Okay, let's break it down so that my 13-year-old, when he watches our conversation, will be like, okay, dad, I'm taking that. Okay, walk
Okay.
us through the process of skill mapping.
All right. So for every career, there are a couple of things that the market needs or the employers want to see. They want to see whether your education aligns with what they're looking for, your work experience aligns. But in today's market, most importantly, they want to see that your technical skills align with what they're looking for. Now, for the same career, company A may be looking for five different technical skills, and company B is looking for three out of what company A is looking for, but two others. And company C, like that and like that. So every industry, there are standard for technical skills that you should know for you to be an expert. There are standard for certifications that you should get for you to be an industry expert, not just a company expert. Now, it is on you as someone who is an expert to know what is the industry standard for certification, for technical skills, for education that I need to have for me to be able to wear the badge of being an expert for this industry. But I think for most people, they only satisfy what their company wants. My company want me to do this. If I do that, then I'm an expert. Then they praise me, I'm promoted. But if you lose that job tomorrow and apply for that same job in another company, will you be a right fit for them? And that is why we do skill mapping. With skill mapping, you are able to understand for my industry, for this job title, what's the education requirement, the work experience requirement, what certification is the standard today, and what are the key technical competencies, technical tools, softwares that I need to know for me to call myself an expert in my industry. On a yearly basis, things are changing. So it's important for everybody to know that on a yearly basis. And this is also applicable if you're trying to cross to another role. You need to do skill mapping for that role you're trying to cross over to so that you can try to get those things. So that if you're trying to look for a job, they see that what they need for that role, you have it. And I think in today's market, people don't care about that. They just care about, I need to satisfy my employer. Then when they start to look for a job, then they say, oh, it's my accent that is the problem, or it's something like that. So that is once you keep, and because technology is moving very fast, so every year you should do skill mapping. It helps you reveal the state of your market, the current trend, so that you can stay ahead of the curve. For you as an African, for me as an African, we are always, people have unconscious bias. They always think we're not good enough. So to help destroy that unconscious bias, we have to stay on top of those trends. So we are always good enough. So when you get to those interviews or you get to those conferences, you shock everybody by exceeding their expectation for you as an African. So upskilling shouldn't just be done without skill mapping because it's your roadmap of what I need to do to be an expert for A or B. And that helps you to boost your confidence, to be able to speak freely about something because you are per industry standard and not just per your company's expectation and standard. Now, you asked me to talk about upskilling. That's how I think it should be done. Not just, I see the certification, I get it. They have announced that that's no. Do it for, this is the career path I'm trying to pursue. These are the things they want. Let me get that. That makes me ready on an industry level. And I'm not afraid to speak anywhere because I know I will kill it because I know what they need in that industry. Skill mapping reveals the mind of the industry to you. Now, I think on a yearly basis that should be done. I'm repeating myself now. Then you asked me to talk about networking.
Yeah.
When I relocated to Canada, I relocated from Finland. In Finland, when you talk to people, you don't look directly at them. You have to look down. When you are in the bus, people don't sit beside you. If there's an empty seat, they would rather stand because they give people this space. And I lived there for 4.5 years. I was coming from a place where networking was discouraged. Then I moved to North America where small talks and everybody is in your space. A stranger sit with you on a board, they start to have conversation about the weather and all this stuff. It was a shock. But now I knew that this is the life here. The first thing I did was I went for an acculturation class to help me. I'm Nigerian. But having lived somewhere where that was discouraged for 4.5 years, I need to relearn the process of how to relate with people better. And I learned that for 6 months. Just learning the art of communication, learning the art of small talks, ensuring that I learn about how to make people feel comfortable about me, likability, how to make people like me, how to leave important impressions that stays with people. I went to learn this in a acculturation class for 6 months. Then after that, I made a very big intentional step of looking for connections on LinkedIn. My first mentor in Canada, I reached out to him on LinkedIn and gave him 5 reasons why I would like to meet with him for coffee. And he accepted that invitation, met with me for coffee, and we had a very good conversation. By the time we met 2 times, and then I asked if he would like to do this monthly. Just I didn't ask him to be a mentor, just to be able to give you feedback as to how my progress is with my PhD, and to learn about your work, how you're growing too. Because I was also asking questions and I was curious. Then we started that relationship. For me, when it comes to networking, it comes with intentionality. I joined LinkedIn groups. I joined professional associations across around my school. I went to join the graduate school association. I became a vice president of finance. I was just intentional about building a relationship. This is a new terrain. And I hear most times people say I'm an introvert. Oh yeah. I'm saying to you as an introvert that being introverted is not an excuse to not network, because it's going to cost your career. You have to push yourself out of that comfort zone and start to open your mouth and talk. It's very critical. And I'm saying this because even if you have these credentials, if you're not relating with people, if people don't know you, who's going to give you that referral? 70% of the jobs on the market, they're eating jobs. You need those relationships, you need those connections. So you have to push yourself. I learned small talk. I went to pay to learn small talk. You can intentionally build things that you want to build, even as an introvert. Now, over the years, when I relocated to the US, I did the same thing. I didn't write to anybody on LinkedIn. My first networking opportunity that broke me into connecting with people was there was a 3D printing conference. It's the biggest in North America. It was happening in the US here. I think Chicago that year. I appealed to my manager to let me attend the conference. And I studied every presentation that was happening at that conference. And I took 5 of those presentations. I wrote down two questions that I wanted to ask at those presentations. And one of those presentations was from a big brand. They were launching a machine, and they finished their presentation. People were asking questions, and right like in the middle, I raised up my hand. They gave me the mic. I asked my question. I have an accent, and that question was way too smart that 50% of the people in that room look back and say, "Who is that?" That was my debut to the US. Who is that? What I had asked about, the company hasn't included that in their machine. They haven't even done it. But they have glorified that machine that is ready for release. They were releasing it. So I caught them. And then they explained that, it's going to be in our next version. But that was a smart question. So people were like, who's that? Oh, she's a black girl. Because we are in spaces where people like us are. Oh, we haven't seen her before. Where did she come from? And I just relocated from Canada. And then almost at the end, I wanted to ask another question. They weren't going to give me the mic. Somebody took the mic and ran to me and said, "It's for her. She probably have another smart question like that one."
God
Yeah.
works in miracles, right?
Yeah. And they gave me the mic. I asked that question. It was another very intelligent question. By the time I was walking out of that room, I have about 450 people. I have about 30 people waiting to collect my card and wanting to know, who are you? Where did you come from? Who do you work for? Wow. You're like, are you new to the US? And I was new. That's the
So, Dr.
first
Addy,
difference.
so that we don't
Yes,
lose, for those of us who
yes.
are listening us, I don't want them to lose what you just did in that room.
I
Because
want to finish
you,
this. I want to finish this.
go
I
ahead,
want
go
to
ahead.
finish this. That that particular conference is the only conference that I went to in North America that I paid to go for. Since that conference, every other conference, I would be a speaker on panels and it became paid for. Why? Because I dare to ask question in a room. Because I understand that networking is not just about small talks. There are different strategies. If small talks doesn't work for you, maybe you can use question approach. There are different approach to be able to launch yourself as a subject matter expert or to be able to connect to more people. You just have to try what works for you. Back to you. Thank you.
Okay, so you were very intentional. So I'm going to work our listeners just in case they missed because you spoke so fast and it was an amazing clip of this conversation, right? First, you were very intentional with your current employer that you needed to go to this conference. They released you to go to that conference. You were intentional. What your strategy was when you went to the conference, I am going into a discovery phase. Through your discovery phase, you were able to catch something that you figured if I threw this out would add value to the presenter. Your goal was to add value. You added value. And when you added value, where there is value, there's always a return from the marketplace. That return was the amount of people who wanted to find out who you are. Okay. I think I summarized it okay. Now,
Yes.
let's start on the mentoring part. Because I sit in these conversations and I'm speaking with my immigrant colleagues and I say, hey, there's 10, 15 of us this year who has spent a little bit of money to go out to a conference and learn something new. And usually it's like, who wants to spend more money to go to a conference for what? And it blows my mind that we do not see the value of one, going to a conference, and two, actually what happens when you go to a conference. So talk to us about recruiting a mentor and the value of continuous education, especially in the context of workshops, seminars, and conferences.
So I think I want to talk about not just mentoring, but sponsorship. Because for most Africans, what you just described earlier, what is in it for me? Why will I do that? It's a critical thing. Oftentimes, we believe the only thing we should ever pay for is to go to school and to get certification. We don't think we should pay for anything outside of that. We feel like everything is just going to fall on our lap. And it's not happening like that because that is how we're losing out on opportunities. Now,
Yes.
there are mentors and there are sponsors. And most people, when I started DTech Centrics, they'll come to me and say, oh, can you mentor me? I'm also African. I'm thinking, why? Who are you? Where did I know you from? I don't have time for that. Yeah. Look, and people don't realize that your mentors have needs too. Your sponsors have needs. When I worked for my one of my employers, a very big company, I had sponsors and I had mentors. And each time when I want to recruit a mentor or a sponsor, I wouldn't go to them and say, can you mentor me? My conversation will be around, what do you do? What are you passionate about? And what they're passionate about, maybe they're giving back through a non-for-profit. I would ask them, can I add value to that non-for-profit? And these are areas where I feel my first meeting, I'm trying to find out what you're passionate about. What else are you doing outside of work? So that I can go back and think about strategy to contribute to what you said you're passionate about. You do 5K run, right? Or you are contributing to a robotics club. Now I'm going to go learn about that robotics club and look at how can I volunteer there, because I've collected all the information about them from you. Then when I invite you to my next meeting, I'm asking, oh, you said the last meeting you said you do this for fun. Oh well, do you think I can volunteer there? I'm passionate. I would like to support such an endeavor since it's important to you, and I feel like I can make contribution in this area and that area. I'm also interested in supporting such a good cause. That person sees someone who is willing to support what they love. When people see that you're not just coming to take from them, that you're trying to give to them, then they want to give to you. The biggest way I have been able to recruit mentors is to start by wanting to know what they need. And in my little capacity, being able to support what is important to them or cater to a need they have. And I watch these people turn around and not just become mentors, they become sponsors. They become sponsors. They want to support me. They're not asking about me. What am I doing? What's important to me? Because I have supported them. If you use this card, you will never find it hard to have a leader rooting for you, supporting you, fighting for you. Stop going to people wanting to take from them. Their table is full already. They're looking for someone to lift something from them, not take from them again. Now, when these people, you can group them into two categories. They can be sponsors and they can be mentors. Sponsors are those people who are going to help you get promoted, who are going to sing your praises, who are going to apply for awards for you because of what you've supported them to do. And mentors are those people who are going to help you plan your career. Think about where you are, what you need to pick whether it's a sponsor that you need or a mentor or both. Now, it's different from a career coach or a coach. Those two are not coaches. Their jobs are different from coach. Now, you talked about the impact of going for conferences. I think even beyond going for conferences, because impact of strategic planning, that's what I call that. Strategic planning, you want to use that to elevate your career. You are a company of one. You are working for someone, but you're a company of one. You are your own chief marketing officer, your own chief sales officer, and you have to make people see what you're capable of doing beyond your company. Your job is to market yourself out there so that your value is higher, right? You want to show your value to be higher. Imagine somebody branding this water and another person taking that same water and putting a gold nylon around it and making it fancy. That person can call it $40 and people will buy it. And they have a very nice advertisement by maybe one big artist that is holding that same water and is saying, oh, this water is great. Then now everybody want to buy that water for $40, right?
Hmm.
Whatever you have, it is up to you to package it well and advertise it so that people can value it. If you're not doing that, and all you're doing is getting certification, you are shortchanging yourself. When you go to these conferences, you post it on LinkedIn, people, even your company will start to say, oh, she's out there. They respect you a lot more. They're not going to mess with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Visibility is a game you need to play with all your heart. And it gives you more opportunities. The moment I started going to conferences, my employer at that time was already afraid. Like, they're gonna start pitching themselves to her. So every time I want to go to say, oh, there's no budget, I'll say, oh, they already paid for it. And I'm gonna talk about the company. It's good for the company. But they were afraid because they know. And in the end, truly, one of those companies came to me and said, what will it take to make you come work for us? They paid me 75% more. They made me a director. So I left. You are the one who markets yourself. Let people see value in you so that the biggest headhunter can come for you. And
Yeah.
that's what conferences does for you. That's what paying for career coaching does for you. That's what those platforms. And don't just go there and say I'm attending. You are going to present, submit an abstract so that you can present something. Pitch yourself as a speaker. So they put you on a platform with people to be on a panel. You have this degree, you have this expertise. But if you are not pitching yourself, people will not give you what you didn't ask for. Start pitching yourself. Pay for those conferences. Pitch yourself to sit on a panel. Pitch yourself to join a board. This new year, I need to see my people do more than just waiting for opportunity to come to us. Go for the opportunity yourself. Have this $2,000 is to seek opportunity. This $250 is mentorship money. This $400 is to register for a conference. When I submit abstract, they accept it. I'll pay the fee. This $400, I'm going to, yeah, I want to join that speaker club. This one is for communication class. Beyond paying for certification, can you do something strategic that can move you forward when it comes to visibility? You need it. Your career needs it. It's your marketing plan. Thank you.
So, um, You're not gonna get away that easy. Not with me. Um, Coaching. My goodness, that's another nightmare. Okay, we've seen immigrants come into the marketplace and do fantastic. I mean, they're innovators, developers, on and on and on. But what I'm not hearing being spoken quite a bit is the idea of how coaching, and especially career coaching, helps develop you as an individual and a force in your marketplace. Let's dive a little bit into the idea of coaching and why it's necessary if you're looking to move from one step to the next step.
Fantastic. I'm gonna give an example. When I was working in corporate, one time I was looking to be promoted, and I had talked to my manager and said I want this job title and I want 50% increase in salary because you guys lowball me. And I didn't say the lowball me. I just said I've done this particular work that I do. This is how much you pay people who are on that based on what is out there that you are advertising, and I want this job title because that is what you gave everybody else that is doing similar role. I went to justify, thanks to my mentor, I'll call her my coach at that time because she was doubling up as a career coach. And after my manager talked to his manager, they came back and said they'll give me that title, they'll give me 25% increase in salary. And then I went to my coach and I told her, I said, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. I want 50%, 50% or nothing. And then she told me, take that 25%, take that job title, go and blast it everywhere as your job title. Now start looking for this type of opportunity. In 6 months, you're gonna get a director role. That's exactly what happened. And this is your playbook to get the director role. You're gonna do this. Oh, in 6 months, I got 75% increase in salary and a director role. If I didn't have a coach, do you think I would have gotten that? No. Did I take another certification? No.
No.
Did I got an MBA? No. What did I have? Somebody who knows the game. And
Wow.
I won flat out. And that is why you need a coach. You need it because especially, there is something called office politics. It's politics. You need the people who have won. It's like playing the game of chess. And then they tell you that's the next move. This next move is going to make you win. This move, you're going to fall, right? And I feel like oftentimes we invest in the technical part, the education, the certification, and then we don't invest in the strategy part. And you know what results we see? Look at the structure of most big companies. You'll see black people are foot soldiers. We are the engineers, we are the senior engineers. Do you see us as directors? How many of us? We are here. We are here. All of us are down here. Then we tapered out. It tapered out. Only two, one here. Why? Don't you see why a lot of us are here? We're not paying for strategy, so we're not getting here.
We need to pay for
Because,
strategy.
yes, because what brought you here to this floor that gave you a leeway in, that certification, that education, is not what will take you to that place. And until we realize that it is not another certification that will get us here, that is strategy, we will continue to heavily be here. Can you see the Indians? They're also here, but they're here. So their own is not like this. It's like this, right?
Yes.
Because a lot of them have understand that I have to pay for strategy. So they're heavy on top as well, and they are a lot more at the bottom. But our own is like very narrow, that it's just one or two of us at the top. It just tapers out. So it's like, maybe I should call it like this. This is how ours is. Is really a lot of us at the bottom, and at the top, it's like next to nothing. Because we still believe that we at middle management you should still be taking certification and go back and do an Ivy League degree. For what?
A lot of immigrants are gonna they will disagree with you
I know.
because it's traditional. What they do is I have to get to that MBA, and that's what's going to get me to where you want to go. And you're saying yes, the MBA may be necessary in certain areas but not quite. right?
Numbers
You
don't
need to.
lie, my brother. Numbers don't lie. Anybody that disagree with me, go and Google the number of black people that are in leadership role and compare that to Asians. And then you'll see the numbers quite there. Because what got you here is not what will take you to the top. What takes you to that top is relationship. What takes you to that top is visibility. What takes you to that top is communication. What takes you to that top is big time office politics. It's not your degree. It's not. Haven't we seen it?
You've talked about advertising, and advertising is me yelling over here, this is me, this is what I do, this is what my strengths are. Advertising is not necessarily actually going to an ad agency and paying for that ad. Advertising is you standing up for yourself and actually projecting your ideas and your thoughts. Today, we're speaking to Dr. Addy Olubamiji, a scientist, entrepreneur, and advocate for STEM education and innovation. She was born in Nigeria. Dr. Addy's journey is interesting. From hawking goods as a child to becoming the first African person to earn a PhD in biomedical engineering from the University of Saskatchewan. As the founder of 3D Tech Centric, she is revolutionizing 3D printing technology across industries. She is a recipient of prestigious accolades like Woman of Outstanding Achievement in Education. Dr. Addy is deeply committed to empowering women and inspiring the next generation to embrace STEM and leadership role. Her story exemplifies resilience, innovation, and the limitless possibilities of education. Dr. Addy, please tell our listeners where they can reach out to you on social media.
Thank you so much for having me. You can find me on LinkedIn at Dr. Addy Olubamiji, or you can find me on Instagram, which is pretty much my playground, at Dr. Olubamiji, my last name. So Dr. for Doctor. Dr. Olubamiji is my handle on Instagram. Thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate
Dr.
it.
Addy, I love my community. I drive around and I see all these big projects happening. And I realize that something is off. Immigrants of color need to get to STEM so that we can become active contributors of drawing what environment our environment immediate environment looks like. Talk to us about the opportunities of STEM and how STEM can play a significant role in who we become in the future.
Thank you. I think I'll talk about digital transformation because that cuts across everybody. The fourth industrial revolution started around 2012, and since the beginning of the first industrial revolution up till now, we have seen a lot of shifts. We have seen us moving from just landlines to mobile phones, and those mobile phones just shrinking to become smartphones that we have right now. We have seen our laptops, we have seen big computers go from big computers to laptops to tablets right now. We have seen us using LAN cables, from LAN cables to having wireless network right now. We have seen artificial intelligence taking over different roles that people were doing before. And these are things that are just part of the fourth industrial revolution. And I believe that over the next 40 to 50 years, Industry 4.0, the fourth industrial revolution, is going to revolutionize how we bank, how our healthcare is administered to us, how we communicate with each other, how we do business. It's going to revolutionize our lives. And I don't think this is for science students. I think it is for all of us. I think at this time, if there's anything you can do for yourself or your family, is to want to understand a bit more about the fourth industrial revolution and pick how will this affect me, my industry, and try your best to upskill so that you can stay ahead of the curve. Now, we know that because of digital transformation, many jobs are going to be lost and many new jobs are going to come to life. 60% of high school students today, the jobs they will do, they have not been created yet. That is because the new technologies that are coming are going to bring new opportunities. If you're going to still work for the next 20 years, it's important to embrace this because there are new opportunities that have now come to our doorstep. Africans are always late when it comes to innovation. We can't afford to be late to this. It's happening right in front of us. So it's time to jump in and start to think, which area should I invest in? Should I invest and learn? Is it maybe it's AI that I should invest in? Is it IoT that I should invest in? Is it blockchain that I should invest in? Is it cloud computing? Is it cybersecurity? Because all of these are going to be the anchor of our world for the next 40 years. My own area that I have explored has been robotics and 3D printing. And I'm very thrilled to be a part of that because this is going to revolutionize manufacturing and a lot of things. And I'm hoping that even if that's not the area you're interested in, you'll find other areas that are part of this fourth industrial revolution and key into so that as these things are happening, we are not going to complain of bias of AI. We are not going to complain of anything because we are going to be part of the people creating those innovations. Well, I hope that helps. Thank you.
It really does. Let's talk about your spirituality because, researching you, I discovered that spirituality played a key role in you and how you have pursued your goals. And talk to us about the promise you made to your father.
All right. So I'm a Christian. I grew up in a Christian home, and growing up, I grew up poor, but my parents had high spirit. I remember um, really looking on the wall of our living room. I had two uncles who were trailblazers. One of them is a pioneer of atomic bomb. And growing up and just looking at my uncle, they grew up poor as well, and saying I wanted to be like them. And this was my motivation and really just really wanting to be like my uncle. I studied physics as well, just like him. But I wasn't going to do an atomic bomb. I was looking for new areas of physics when I graduated. As everybody around me was doing whatever they want, my own goal was that I was going to follow the path of education and use it for success. My father, got into university, he sold his pickup truck, and gave me the money. That's how I got to pay my tuition, because um, that's how he could do it. And he really believed in me. And he believed when he gave me that money, my father said, if there are 10,000 people, my daughter will come out as one of the top 10. So everything I do at that point, or everything I did, was me working hard to make sure that my father's pride in the fact that I have a smart kid. I don't, I don't disappoint him. Thankfully, I didn't disappoint him. I made a lot of promises to my father. I told him I would build him a house. I told him so many things. I told him I would make him proud. And I think in all of it, I have done what I could to show that when you sow a seed, whether you're a parent or you are just a community member sowing a seed, when you see talent, when you sow a seed, you are not only sowing that seed to help them go forward, you have caused a ripple effect. Because what I do today, giving back to my community, is a ripple effect of the seed my father has sown, my community has sown, that shown me that this is something that I have to pay forward to other people. And I'm thankful that continuously I can pay this forward to people who look like me, now in another country and not Nigeria anymore. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so for young girls that are probably in STEM programs in high schools or middle schools, and they listen to our conversation, they're thinking, okay, I can relate to her. I'm an immigrant like her. I've made a lot of promises to my parents. I have this background. I want better for myself. How do they start skill mapping at that early age?
Fantastic. I First of all, I feel like skill mapping should be part of universities' curriculums. I think it should be adopted so that it helps guide people as they go forward. Secondly, if you're a young person, you're listening to me right now, everything I talked about, industrial revolution, the fourth industrial revolution, I want you to take it serious. In schools right now, they're probably still guiding you to be a mechanical engineer, they're guiding you to be a pilot or to be a nurse or a doctor. But I want to tell you that the opportunity ahead of you is bigger than that. So as the school do their own thing, I want you to research, I want you to go on Google and research fourth industrial revolution. I want you to read more about that. And out of the different technologies there, I want you to read and see which one can I add to what I'm doing in school. Why? Because adding that to what you're doing in school is going to take you into this as the world is evolving. you are going to be one of those people who have learned about it early. Why is this important? Most universities, most colleges, most secondary schools are not talking a lot about industrial revolution and talking about what the world is moving towards. So be the one to make that research yourself and invest some time to ensure that this is something that you want to know. I believe that as a young person, you can take charge of your own destiny like I did. I wanted to study physics, and I did that without just waiting for guidance. And every step of the way, I've just followed the roadmap. Build your own roadmap. But I think you should build it based on what will be here long term, which is the fourth industrial revolution. Thank you.
Dr. Addy, as the founder of the 3D Tech Centrics, what passion program are you working on now?
Um, Passion program. I have a couple. Um, I don't talk enough about STEM Hub Foundation. STEM Hub Foundation is a non-for-profit I started when I lived in Canada. To start it, that's supported over 10,000 um, immigrants and youths to get into digital transformation technology careers, and also to teach STEM to young people and really help them see that this is where the future is going. This is a passion project, it's been a continued one, and I'm happy that we continue to move it forward year in, year out. That's my first one. Second one, my company is currently building an app called the My Pathfinder AI, and this app is supposed to help new immigrants who are coming to really have an understanding of how do they navigate the corporate environment if they're looking for a job. It has a lot of AI infusion in it, and is definitely designated for the African community. Like if you're looking to understand, like it will do some skill mapping for them. It will help with, oh, if I'm looking for a job, what is the right one I should focus on right now based on what you input into it. I'm looking forward to us launching that definitely next year. I also, a part of my entrepreneurial journey that I don't talk about a lot is real estate investing. I own Synergy Equity Corp with my husband that houses about 60 different properties around the US and Canada. And that's been a passion project I've been working on now for 5 years. We're hoping that next year we're going to grow even bigger. Yeah, when I look at all of this, I think there are multiple moving parts, but my idea of a passion project is to build a legacy that will transcend me, something that I would leave not just for my children, but my children's children, and that will inspire other people who look like me. That you can tap into the opportunities around you, and then there's no reason why you should put your head down. That you are here, and I'm a Christian. The Bible asks us to come here and dominate, and that everywhere you go, you can technically do it, dominate there. Thank you.
Dr. Addy, if there's anything we can do at the Immigrant Nation podcast to support you in your passion projects or anything that you're working on, we are here to serve you. It has been such a pleasure talking to you. I think after 80 something podcasts, this is my favorite. You are intense, calculated, and amazing. I am
Thank
going to listen to you over and over again because it's such wealth into our conversation, and I am so grateful we spent this afternoon together. Please tell our listeners where they can find you on social media before we sign off, please.
Thank you so much for having me. You can find me on LinkedIn at Dr. Addy Olubamiji, or you can find me on Instagram at Dr. Dr. Olubamiji. Instagram is pretty much my playground, so you'll see a lot of information there. But I look forward to connecting with you. Thank you.
I do not want anybody to lose the fact that you're working on a passion project. You're my Pathfinder AI. Please, when you're launching the program, let my team know. We would love to be a part of supporting you. Ladies and gentlemen, across the globe, immigrants, we have been listening to Dr. Addy Olubamiji. As the founder of 3D Tech Center, she is revolutionizing 3D printing technology across industries. She is a recipient of prestigious accolades like Women of Outstanding Achievement in Education. Dr. Addy is deeply committed to empowering women and inspiring the next generation to embrace STEM and leadership roles. Her story exemplifies resilience, innovation, and the limitless possibilities of education and the immigrant story. Thank you for coming to the Immigrant Nation podcast, and thank you for spending this afternoon with us. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
thank you, Dr. Addy.
Thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's talk soon. I can't wait.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.